Hello, fanatics out there, and welcome back to the Dependent Fanatic channel. And I was playing cribbage with my dad here tonight, and he owned my ass in cribbage. If you have not played that, it's a card game with a pegboard, and you score to the end. Well, I could not get a hand, and I could not peg. He owned me tonight, and that inspired me, woke me up to do the Big Ten schedules. All right, talking about Ohio State here, and he taught me, my dad, that is tonight. What I took from this is to be humble when you lose or win. So I could rip Ohio State for their schedule here coming up, like they did us the last couple of seasons. But I'm going to take the high road and allow them to have this schedule. My 400th video for all of you here right now. It will be about Ohio State mainly and the easiest schedules in the Big Ten, if I can fit them in here at the end after talking about Ohio State. They didn't make the top 4 playoff. So it got a little bit easier because they have a chance to make a top 12 playoff here coming up this season with their easy-ass schedule. Listen, they have a good team. I'm nudging Ohio State people. They did it to us for years, decades. I can give it back. It's pathetic what they have. Top 4 seed now, going into the Big Ten championship game. Could be. They could have. This schedule is weak as far as Big Ten schedules rank. At number 15 in the Big Ten out of 18 teams. This is beneficial for Ohio State, an easier schedule, and I would be lying if it wasn't beneficial for Michigan to have an easy schedule the last couple of years, because especially last year, because it allowed J.J. McCarthy to find a rhythm early on versus the weaker competition. And then we really didn't need him until the later games. So everyone said Michigan's schedule is easy. Now Ohio State has the one, and I say, hey, as long as you win, just win, baby. Because we ended up playing, Michigan ended up playing Iowa in the Big Ten championship game after beating Ohio State on the road, after beating Penn State on the road, and then they had Alabama and Washington in the playoff and won both of those games. So I don't think schedules matter, really. Just throw it out the window. Win. Just win your games. I do believe that it's easier if you have it where, like Michigan does this season, even though they have the 6th hardest schedule in the Big Ten, according to this ranking that I have. They have home away, or they have a bye before a certain game, and it just fits, and it's good for Michigan. Ohio State has an easy-ass schedule this year. Are you going to make the playoff? There's 12 teams. There's 12 teams available. Let's look into their schedule. I'm going to start with number 15. I know we have to go 13 through 18 here in this because this video is about the easiest schedules in the Big Ten. But I'm starting with Ohio State at number 15. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. That's 12 wins between them last season, all at home with a bye week in between. Then they go to Michigan State, a 4-8 team from last season. Iowa at home. Cade McNamara, good luck. I think Ohio State drubs them. At Oregon is interesting. Maybe some revenge from when Oregon came into Columbus, into the horseshoe, and whooped your ass. Maybe you can go in there and do that. And then you get your bye week after that because you'll need it. Nebraska at home, and then at Penn State. Nebraska's going to be better, and then at Penn State, that's tough as well. Purdue at home, you'll win that. At Northwestern, you'll win that. Indiana, and then you got Michigan at home at the end of the season, 15-0 from last season. Northwestern, they were 8-5 last season, but Ohio State leads all these series except for Michigan at the end of the season. Michigan leads 61-51 and 6 all time. 6 ties. So 10 game lead. Their opponents total, though, from last season were 83-71, which is a 54% percentage. Ohio State only plays one newcomer to the Big Ten, but it might be the hardest one at Oregon. Ohio State will win every game but Michigan, if you go by historical reference. Like I said, they laid it out. They win. They have a winning record against every opponent except for Michigan. Ohio State is the one with the easiest schedule, non-con this year, and I expect them to be one of 2 teams in the Big Ten championship game. So there you go, and I'm going to break down their team and what they have, of course, but the schedule is easy. Their team is really good. Knowles, their defensive coordinator, is in his third season now. And Ryan Day is maybe loosening his reins on the offense, and maybe they will run the ball a lot more. So here we go. Let's talk about the other easy schedules in the Big Ten as we close this video out. Purdue was number 13. They have Indiana State at home, Notre Dame at home, at Oregon State, Nebraska, at Wisconsin, at Illinois, Oregon at home, and then they get their second bye week. Northwestern at home, at Ohio State, Penn State at home, at Michigan State, and then at Indiana. And that's a 59% opponent win total from last season, 83-57. And good luck finding them leading many series in the Big Ten. So we'll flip them aside and we'll talk Penn State. Penn State's another team that has an easy schedule in the Big Ten, who went 10-3, I believe, last season. They always just lose to Ohio State and Michigan. They don't have to play Michigan this season. So what will they do with a easy schedule? Number 13, I believe, in the nation. West Virginia is what they have. Or in the Big Ten, excuse me. Big Ten schedules we're talking. Number 13 in the Big Ten. Easy schedule. But they're really freaking hard in the Big Ten. So Penn State is going to have West Virginia on the road. 9-4 team last season. So that's pretty good, strong opener there. Bowling Green, and then Kent State, and then Illinois at home, and then UCLA at home, at USC. And then they have a double bye week, which is something that no Big Ten team has. But they have 2 weeks without a game. And then right out of that, they get Wisconsin. So that's the perfect game before you have Ohio State at home, and then Washington at home. Wow. Maybe give me a bye between a couple of those if I was Penn State. But at Purdue is going to be pretty, it's Purdue. They're the giant killers. At Minnesota, and then Maryland at home is where Penn State finishes. They have a 57% opponent total, 88 and 67 clip from last season. Penn State gets to play 3 newcomers from the West. 2 of them are at home, though. If you go by history, Penn State will go 9-3 with their totals. They are losing to UCLA all-time at home, or all-time 4-2. They are losing to USC all-time 6-4, and they are losing to Ohio State all-time 24-14. So Penn State has a great chance at being 3rd or 4th in the Big Ten again. Depending on Drew Aller. And they have an easy schedule. I mean, Drew Aller could be your guy. Maryland now is number 14 because Ohio State was 15. Maryland went 8-5 last season. They have Connecticut, Michigan State at home, at Virginia, who was 3-9 last season, Villanova, at Indiana. Then they get their bye. Possible 5-0 here to start. Northwestern and USC at home, at Minnesota, and then they get another bye. At Oregon, Rutgers, Iowa, at Penn State. Their opponent win total is 52% from last season. Not very good. 74 and 67 is what their opponents went last season. I know teams will get better and worse as they go season to season, but it's good trajectory on strength of schedule. And I will get through this strength of schedule here for you for the Big Ten. And I don't know if I want to do it for the SEC unless you guys like the video and tell me to do the SEC, because I'm diving in now. I've already did the SEC. I'm diving in now to what I think teams will do with these schedules and with the players they have coming back, but we don't know because the spring ball is coming up, transfer portal is coming up, so I just want to get these schedule videos out before I do my predictions, of course. Anyway, Maryland should go bowling at least again. Their first 5 opponents are FCS or they suck. Michigan State had 4 wins. Come on. After that, it gets tougher. If you go by history, Maryland will go 5-2 this season. Of course, there are no ties, but they historically tied between, or they have never played Oregon or USC. So that's the 2 ties. But they could go 5-5, and depends on them 2 games for Maryland. All right, so we passed number 15 because we already did that. That was Ohio State. Number 16 is Rutgers, or 17 is Rutgers' easiest schedule. 7-6 last year. Howard, Akron, and then you get a bye. At Virginia Tech, who was 7-6 last season, and Virginia Tech leads that all-time series 12-4 over Rutgers. And then Washington at home. Rutgers loses 2-0. Washington leads that series. So at Nebraska is going to be hard as well. Nebraska leads that series 6-0. Wisconsin leads the series 5-0. UCLA is the first ever matchup at home at Rutgers. We'll see what happens there. At USC, 8-5 team, first ever matchup, and then they get their second bye week. Minnesota out of that, and then at Maryland, Illinois, and then at Michigan State. Their opponent's total averages up to 52%, 74 and 67 from last season. If you go by history, Rutgers will go 1-8-3. But this Rutgers team is better than that, I'm telling you. So they will beat teams that seem better than them on this list. They will. Coming up in my prediction videos. And last but not least, the easiest schedule in the Big Ten belongs to Nebraska. They went 5-7 last year, missing many bowl games, even before Matt Rule. This is easy. You better make a bowl with the easiest Big Ten schedule. UTEP at home, Colorado at home, Northern Iowa, Illinois at home. All home games for them to start. You go to Purdue, you can win that. You have Rutgers at home. Bye week is after that, and then at Indiana, at Ohio State. You can win one of those. I won't tell you which. UCLA, and then you get a bye week after that. Excuse me. And then after that bye week, USC, at USC. And then you come home to Wisconsin, and then you have at Iowa. Brutal ending. So it was 50% win total from last season, 70 to 69. Their opponents were. But if you go by history, Nebraska will go 5-4-3 all time because they are losing all time to Wisconsin, USC, Ohio State, and Indiana, actually, in fact. Indiana leads the all-time series versus Nebraska 10-9-1. Two first ever matchups for Nebraska here, Northern Iowa, I believe, and UTEP. And a tied series with Purdue are most likely wins. That's what I was saying there. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Big Ten's easiest schedules coming up. Ohio State, you better do it. You better do it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe, and as always, hit the bell for notifications so you know when my next video is posted. But I have videos posted. This is my 400th video ever posted, and it's about Ohio State. So go watch all the other 399 videos I posted and see where I came from. If you liked this one, I just trying to create a community here, and I like Michigan athletics mostly, but I can talk about any college football team that is, and other sports. So hit the like button. Comment down below what you think about this schedule for Ohio State. And should they give us shit? Hey, we won the national title. I haven't heard anything about it since. Go Blue.